So, hello everyone. Welcome to the Idenxt Leadership Series. And together with me today, I have two great friends from Austria, Leahanne Hobson and Christian Hess.
Thank you.
Hello, Pierre.
And you run Alinea Partners. Can you please tell the audience a little bit about Alinea? What do you do?
Sure. We are a global channel consultancy. We work only in high tech and typically only in B2B and telco. We're known as one of the top 100 channel consultancies globally, according to Jay McBain, which is always nice to hear. And what we do is we focus very much on the readiness and the enablement space. So making sure that big IT providers like Microsoft, Cisco, Motorola Solutions have their offers packaged in a way that can be sold successfully by their channel, putting together sales motions and sales enablement packages for their salespeople. And that's the space that we spend a lot of our time on, all the pre-work before the go-to-market demand gen. And our overall goal is to help those companies across the ecosystem, whether they're MSP, CSP, system integrators, marketplaces, telcos, or big IT vendors, is to help them move from selling transactionally at a very low profit margin to selling more successfully from a solutions and services and consultative perspective at a much higher profit margin, which also makes their relationship a lot stickier with their customers. And we are the only company that does high-tech B2B secret shopping.
And you probably need to tell us a little bit about what is secret shopping.
Yeah, we could probably do a whole session on that one. We actually look to buy hardware, software, services from high-tech companies, just like an average buyer. And we've worked out this scientific methodology that we've evolved over the last, we've been doing this since 2014, I think, which goes through the entire process. So not just looking at the website or at social media, it's not that. It's actually looking at the full buying process and whether or not the process, the messaging, the positioning, and all of the tactical sales pieces are in the whole process. And then we benchmark that against the 800 and growing other shopping experiences we've had, and we give feedback. We let people know what they're really good at. Lots of times they don't know it. So they need to highlight those things and play it up as a value proposition. We tell them what the benchmark is, depending on what kind of a business model they want to have, boutique, high volume sales, whatever it happens to be, distribution. And then we also say, listen, this is where you're losing business. And here's how we think you should fix it. And we do this in multiple languages around the world all the time.
Great. But today we were going to focus on Copilot. And
Yes.
I understand that you have been working together with Microsoft, helping partners for quite some time. And it is probably fair to say that you are one of the pioneers in this field.
We've been around a while. Christian, yes, you want to talk a little bit about our work with Copilot? Since I've just done the intro.
Yes. Yeah, being called a kind of pioneer, that's a nice compliment. Thank you, Per. I think we started very early when Microsoft brought Copilot into the market, doing some sparring with our contacts at various levels at Microsoft, so helping them with some thoughts and how they can get started with material and programs to support partners with the go-to-market of Copilot. So at the very early stages. And I think one of the biggest activities that we worked on that time was with Microsoft Western Europe. We created a playbook for Microsoft partners to help them better understand the kind of big picture of taking such a new, I would even call it product category to the market, because it's it's really going into a complete different wave of solutions. So looking back to when we're talking about the plain box moving activities where you went to a customer, installed the program, and then left. Then came the cloud. With Copilot, a new dimension of complexity of the offer, and of course, all the different building blocks and the processes related to supporting customers with being successful by implementing AI-based solutions like Copilot. So we started looking into this, building a playbook, helping partners really start at the very beginning. Like, okay, what are the things you need to take into your considerations prior to starting to talk to customers? And we came up with the playbook. We launched with Western Europe once Copilot got in a wider scope into the market.
Yeah, and then we moved on to work individually with partners and consult with them on their particular offer. We started very, very early on. We had the aha experience that AI and Copilot are not something that you sell. It's something that you teach people to use, and then you put your monetary framework around that. And then we got something pretty interesting, which we don't do a lot of, but we've started to do much more. And that's Microsoft Corp asked us to do a series of end user trainings. And we've just trained over 10,000 people worldwide.
Wow.
And we're going to continue that into fiscal year 26. And we kind of debated back and forth whether or not we wanted to do that, whether that was really part of our core value. And what came out of it was we felt that this was something that would give us really good feedback into and insights into actual users, not IT directors necessarily, but the receptionists and the shop owner and the people at the nonprofit organization that are actually using Copilot every day. And then we're able to give that feedback to Microsoft, but also to the partners to give them an idea of why there's that usage gap and why they may be struggling to get started and what they're going to need in order to make sure that it lands and expands, as Microsoft likes to say.
Great. So, yes, please, Christian.
And that activity and engagement really showed us, and the partners we are also working with, it's a different set of engagement that reaches way deeper into the organization of their customers than implementing a plain collaboration or communication solution where you just train people, how to use that user interface like Outlook or Word or Excel. This really goes way deeper into teaching people how to do things differently. Mm-hmm. So really approaching the way they work or they have been working in the past and showing them how to do things more effective and efficient. And the feedback we're seeing from the Q&As and the feedback service from those training really indicates this is something where the customers, so the users, are having the biggest gap in getting very comfortable using and utilizing those pieces of technologies.
Nice. And if you are a Microsoft partner, how do you earn your money? Is it licensing? Is it hours implementing or training or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's going to be some security and governance, data governance upgrades that have to take place. How and when you do that is really critical so that you don't lose momentum. But then there's the whole adoption phase, getting started and building out an appropriate adoption catalog, so to speak. And that's where recurring revenue will come into play, which any partner that is interested in having a healthy business and or selling that healthy business is going to be looking for recurring revenue. And also, higher profit margins on consulting, which is, what you and I and Christian do all the time. So, building that out is really something that we've done for our own businesses. And, then now we're helping partners do that as well.
And I also believe that having these conversations with customers brings strategic value. The customers, they want to have these discussions, and it's better that they have it with you as a partner than with someone else. And that
Absolutely.
can lead to higher things.
Yeah, because it's so hot. AI is so interesting. Any business person wants to know, what should I know about this? And can you answer my questions? And like you said, if they're not asking you, they're asking your competition.
Yes.
And that may be the first step towards churn, so towards losing that customer, because they may find someone out there who is really competent, who takes their hand and helps them, walk them through that journey of understanding what AI can do for the business, how they need to prep, what they need to put in place prior to really getting into the second, third, or fourth gear of moving towards the outcomes that AI can drive for their organization, which means better do right at the beginning, because from our perspective, there's no way back after you lost a customer because you were not able to take that initial conversation and appear competent and a partner of trust that can help them.
Great. And if you are a partner and want to start on the Copilot journey, what should be your first steps?
Call me.
Great. Perfect. Easy.
I think my first step, and Christian might have another idea, but would be, if I'm going to resell Copilot, I need to understand Copilot. And so I need to use it. I honestly believe that if you do not use Copilot, you can't sell it. Because the minute I start asking you questions, or you start explaining to me about how it works and how to get it on my computer and where I can find everything, I'm going to know immediately whether you use it or not, because of the way that the questions are answered and the information is available. So, we always say people buy from people. Well, people don't buy from inauthentic people. And so if you're not using it, you're then inauthentic in my books, and I wouldn't buy from you. So I think that, and Microsoft calls it customer zero, but it is so important. And we talk to partners all the time where the first question, we ask them two first questions. One is, how many people within your organization are using it? And the second is, does your CEO use it? And I've asked some pretty big companies about their CEOs, and we get some pretty interesting answers. But if it's not being used and then evangelized from the top down, it isn't going to, take off.
Great. So become customer zero. I will say customer zero today and not eat your own dog food. We've learned that.
Yeah, we used to say that, didn't we?
But I think it's all really about that authenticity and trust that is, or that should be built on the very first engagement with the customer. I sometimes compare it with a shopping experience. When you're about to buy a new running shoe and you go for a shop that just has a bunch of shoes on display, and there's just one person, a salesperson, who just shows you where you find that shoe. That doesn't really make you, if you are a starting runner person, happy. In the good sport shops, you find people who are specialized in the subject. If they're in the skiing area, they are good skiers. If you go for the running stuff, they are good runners. And they don't sell you a shoe. They sell you the experience and what that shoe or what that type of equipment will help you achieve. So are you going for a half marathon, a full marathon? Are you going for trails? So that kind of conversation, that authenticity, a partner can only learn when they embark on that customer zero journey across the different functions within the organization. And unfortunately, we meet a lot of partners who say, yeah, we've got three Copilot licenses, 5 Copilot licenses. And then comes the question, and who's using them? Oh, in IT, so delivery people. So not sales, not the CEO, not marketing department, which kind of limits the opportunity because their delivery people are not talking to the CEO of their customer. So that needs to be an authentic starting point, talking about the capabilities and by that also understanding the customer.
And do you suggest that partners should run some kind of workshops together with customers, or how do they start having these discussions and helping their customers?
We have different clients that go about it in different ways. Some use initial workshops more as events and demand generation, which if you first prep your sales team very well on using Copilot and what the sales motion should be, that can be pretty successful. We had a client that prepared for the event. We actually took the original agenda and script for the event and threw it out the window together because it was all around features, functions, and pricing. And this is innovation. This is excitement. There's no need to talk about a discount today. Talk to me in 20 years about a discount. But today the market has too much opportunity to start dumping the price. And then what they did is they had a sales action where we took them into an individual workshop, and it was a paid for workshop. And I think they signed up 45 workshops at the event. So it shows there's an appetite and also an appetite for purchasing. We have others that go straight for the one-on-one workshops or one-on-few, and some do it for free and then look to do the other project. It really depends on what your market will bear and what type of relationship you have with your customers. But this is the first opportunity to get in front of the CEO and to talk about what is your AI ambition? What do you want to do with AI? And there's enough, if you put enough into that session, it could be charged for quite easily. If you want to use it as a demand generation type of activity, that can be done as well.
But even before running and thinking about workshops, I'd take a step back. After achieving my kind of scores on becoming a customer zero, I'd spend some time looking into my customer base to better understand the customers, because this insight helps me better understand what type of conversations as a partner I need to start with my customers in order to avoid that kind of, oh, that's a very expensive thing, let's talk about a discount. So understanding the customers, the salesperson or a partner better understands where their customer, their target audience has the pain points that they should use to talk about the outcomes where Copilot can help them transform and get better. And if that is done right, you can better tailor all those workshop engagements, because then you will understand there's a group of customers I'm sending for demand gen. I'm doing a one-to-many workshop type of thing or webinar type of thing. These are the ones, because I better understand them. I touch base with them on a direct one-to-one level. And I already got my kind of pitch deck based on those bullet points I captured out of the intelligence about my customers. These 4 things. And by that also the partner stays in control and runs the journey, rather than being run and driven in a direction where they need to respond in order to kind of fill the burning questions the customer brings up, instead of starting with a good crafted journey that instantly draws the benefits and the outcomes.
So will you be more successful as a partner if you have people that understands a certain industry?
Yes.
Definitely. It can be industry, but when we talk about customer insight, we usually go beyond just the demographics. And I kind of think of industry also, unless you're analyzing industries that are thriving or dying at a particular time, that can also be an interesting angle. But, do I have a group of customers that are struggling with their marketing departments in the sense that they don't have sales marketing alignment? Do I have a group of CEOs that have retention issues and therefore employee satisfaction could be raised by being more productive, giving people more time and being a better place to work? Or is it customer experience that they're focused on? There are all kinds of different goals that leadership teams have, and many of them are pretty public about it if they give any kind of interview, or they are a public company and they have to issue a report. So just doing a bit of that listening and reading on what they're saying is important to them allows you to go in and have a much better and impactful conversation and give them some ideas they may not even have been thinking about.
Nice. And some of these problems are not industry specific, they are more horizontal. It's more about talking about their business. That's really great advice. Want to add, Christian?
I fully agree. So mapping, as Leanne said, that the horizontal or functional streams are very important, but also they may be tied to industry specific things. Yeah. Like there may be industries with a very high rate of customer service interactions, call centers, stuff like that, where Copilot or Gen AI can help them optimize those processes. On the other hand, doing predictive forecasting, optimizing the kind of foundation for a more effective and qualitative decision making, I think that fits across all industries. But there may be also specific characteristics like in public sector, in healthcare, that have an impact on how you frame the conversations, which again is also important to build on that kind of transparent, responsible AI approach to avoid running into showstoppers or challenges as part of the sales journey that come up because no one addressed them at the beginning. So knowing all those bits and pieces is very important for partners. So the prep, I would say, is more than half of the rent.
Great. Super. And are there any directives, legislation that partners need to be aware of? There are a lot of things cooking.
That's Christian's favorite.
Yes.
That's his favorite topic these days.
I think definitely yes. And today we know there's the European Union AI Act, pretty prominently communicated across in the staged approach of what things will be in place at which times, but I think there will be more stuff coming in the near future. So taking compliance as part of the equation when preparing the offers, the way you discuss and start engagement with customers is very important. So the EU AI Act, for instance, just to pick that example, is very important because it already, of course, it's a regulative framework for different things, but there is also something partners can read out of that, what they may take as an input for how they build their offers. Because by having every organization in the need to kind of comply with those regulations, independent of the size, there's the opportunity for the partner to monetize on that need for educating or driving activities for AI literacy. In a deeper level, of course, as we also talk about security, which is also very important for AI, we instantly get very close to whatever cybersecurity regulation and directives are in place. So for Europe, it's the NIS2, there's DORA, there's many more things around that. So when touching data in the context of AI, security will be definitely part of the equation and conversations. So here, in most cases, organizations will kind of come very close to compliance. And here's the thing, many organizations may believe, oh, we are not on the target list for DORA, we are not on the target list for NIS2, we're not target list for any regulation in any other foreign country. No, that's not true. They may be part of a supply chain, so a downstream kind of line where at some place in the top, someone may say, I'm looking downstream to my vendors and checking how they comply with certain topics of the overall regulations or directive, which means that every organization in downstream may need to comply with security directives, regulations, or any other thing. So
we all know that from working with Microsoft. I mean, every year we have to do the compliance regulations. Yep. We're downstream. And there are a lot of other companies out there that are in similar situations. But
on the other
AI
hand, sorry.
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
That compliance topic opens another area for proactively offering services for customers. So just as part of the governance, we help you stay compliant. On the other hand, compliance itself could be already a use case, validating any scenario against a given directive or regulation from a compliance perspective to validate the impact or to kind of get ideas how to make something compliant.
Yeah.
Nice. Beautiful. So, any final tips for partners that wants to be successful on the Copilot journey?
They need to use it. They need to understand their customers, the insights. They have to package their offer as in a way that they're teaching people to use it and not just selling it or discounting it. Please don't discount it. And they have to get their sales motions in place. From an additional piece of advice, I don't think any marketing people have to spend any of their budget on awareness for AI. The big companies are doing that. They should be spending every euro that they have on advising and consulting, teaching people about Copilot in this case. And that in turn will position their company as experts.
So they don't need to create a wave, they just need to learn how to surf it.
Exactly. Are you using Copilot?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Absolutely. It would be embarrassing otherwise, but yes, and I do love it.
I knew that answer.
There's one more additional thought on this topic for partners. This is not a one-time thing.
Yeah.
This is a continuous journey for their customers because of the transformation they are running through, getting started, getting more deeper into this, expanding new use cases, all that stuff. But as we have seen in the last 12 months, the different waves, just looking at Copilot, the different waves of features, new things, the coaches, the agents, and this and that. There's so many things that just surfaced within the last 4 months or so. And my gut feeling is that won't slow down. So we should expect that, of course, maybe the speed will a little bit flatten down a bit, but this will not go away. So there will be a continuous evolution of new things coming into the core platform, which means that customers will constantly adjust to the new things, as well as partners need to adjust to the new services, which means that in all dimensions of the offers, managed services or capabilities, they will need to kind of have updates they support with extending the scope of the managed services, with adding additional educational streams for the different functions and how people can and should look into those things. So definitely something to be seen as a continuous journey that also helps them easily transform from one-time shots, like the project business things, where they do something, they get paid, and then they need to look for something else. That business category AI gives them a great opportunity to convert one-time shots into a continuous recurring revenue stream, if done right. Yeah. So the importance is also spending some time in the offer building.
Yeah, and that statement about everything is going to continuously change and there's always going to be new things should not frighten partners or business owners, because while that is happening, the entire ecosystem around it is also evolving and adapting. And what they may find is they might have to get out of their comfort zone a bit on partnering in order to have all of the capabilities that they want to have to offer those customers. But that's just a different skill set to learn how to partner and how to choose the best partners. they're not going to be in a situation where there isn't anybody out there who can help them.
And that's true. And specialize and learn how to work with others creates good business for everyone.
Exactly.
Terrific. So if partners wants to continue the conversation with Alinea, how do they find you?
I'm in LinkedIn. I think I'm the only one with my name spelled this way. So they can do a screenshot right here and connect with me on LinkedIn. Or I'm at leanne.hobson@alineapartners.com. Sorry. That always works as well.
And Christian?
I'm also, as Leanne, easy to find and spot on LinkedIn. So Christian, or you just send me an email, christian.hess@alinea-partners.com. Easy to memorize face. So happy to see, happy to see and receive some interesting questions.
Wonderful. And thank you so much for being here. And I know from your work that you are doing a tremendous work, and Microsoft loves you, so they continuously bring you in to solve problems that partners might have, helping them become better partners. Thank you very much. This was a pleasure.
Thank you, Per.